All right, let's get it cracking. You're now tuned in to Building 6 on P.
And this is your man, Reggie Rhodes.
We about to do what we do best. We about to go in. So let's talk about where you from.
I'm from Kinston, North Carolina. Shout out to the K.
Shout out to the K. What was it like growing up in Kinston?
I grew up in a close-knit community. It was full of love and support. It was like a village, man. Everybody know everybody. People looked out for each other. If you and I were playing and I did something wrong, I'd get a whooping at your house and get one when I got home. It was that type of environment where it took a village to raise a child. It was a good community that I grew up in, and I'm proud to be from there.
So what type of, from your history with Kinston and growing up down there, being amongst the people that you said that everything, is family orientated, it take a village to raise a child. How do you think that they're going to react about the incident that just occurred on the 20th?
That's a real hard one to call, man. There are some community activists there, but it's very few. It's 20,000, 25,000 people in the town. You have a little bit of everything there. You have some people that's conscious, and you have some people that are not so conscious. There could be a reaction to this, and then again, there may not. They're trying to keep this quiet because it's election time, and the sheriff is up for re-election.
So for the people that don't know what happened on the 20th, let's walk them through that.
Okay. From all reports, the police will call, or the sheriff deputies will call for trespassing on Noose Road. When they arrived, they became engaged in a physical altercation with the suspect. During the physical altercation, someone was passing by and took it upon himself to get out and shoot the individual that was in the altercation with the police.
Was the individual that was shot, was he black?
According to all the reports that I've received, yes, he was.
What about the sheriffs? Were they black or white?
The deputies, the race is not known, but knowing Kinston, like I know Kinston and the way this thing is shaping up, it's really hard to speculate about the race of the situation because the sheriff of the town is black. And in an interview, he said that he was surprised that the body cams, as strong as the magnets were, both of them came off during the scuffle. Even the way that he said it sounds like he doesn't believe it. But there has to be an investigation, man. People have to look into this, and they have to get to the bottom of it. And they can't just sweep this under the rug with the good old boys. I don't think that.
What about the dude that did the shooting? Was he black or was he white?
According to all reports that I've received, it was a Caucasian man that stopped and shot the guy that was allegedly in the altercation with the officers.
So, just for clarification, we got a black man fighting two sheriff deputies. Somebody that had nothing to do with the situation, was just passing by, took it upon themselves to shoot the guy that was in a scuffle with two sheriff deputies.
That's pretty much what happened.
What was the reason for him feeling like that he had to help the police?
Well, you have to understand the climate and the environment there. It's a southern state. It's an open carry state. And you have a lot of people walking around with firearms on their hips. And a lot of them are looking for a reason or an excuse to use it.
I mean, even though it's open carry, this man is not a police officer. The police officer has a job to do. They get paid to arrest people, shoot people. You know what I mean? They get paid for that. So has there been any kind of charges filed against this man that shot that guy?
None were mentioned. They mentioned that the guy that got shot was charged, but they didn't mention any charges against the guy who shot him. And from my understanding of the law, you can use physical force if you believe that your life or the life of a loved one is in danger. I don't know how that's going to play out in this case or how it applies to this case, but I do know this. Um, had that been a black person in that situation and he fired a shot and shot someone that was in an altercation with the police, he would have not only got charged with that assault, but 9 times out of 10, he would have got charged with attempted assault or attempted murder on the police as well.
Man, the police probably would have shot him because
Probably, and it's also telling that there were two officers and both of them had firearms and all the weapons that police have, and neither one of them saw it necessary to fire their weapon. So it looks like the guy that was passing by was a bit overzealous.
yeah, when I was reading the article, it said that the family they got questions that they need to be answered about the situation. One of the parents was like, so if the police was that much worried about their life, how come they didn't tase the guy or, use mace or something like that? How come they ain't subdue him, what I'm saying, themselves? Because they got multiple ways to do that, so if this dude doesn't get charged, with assault, attempted murder, something, what I'm saying? I mean, you know, somebody that, people need to react. People need to, have something to say about that in Kinston.
I doubt very seriously if he'll be charged. I doubt that very seriously.
Why would you doubt that?
It is what it is, man. It's a small town in the South, man. And like I said, it's a good old boy network, and they're covering this up, man. I mean, for it to happen, right? And when I first tried to get information on the subject, I couldn't even get information. And for something to happen in Kinston and certain people don't know what happened, that's a red flag right there.
I'm gonna say that he gonna get charged, but if he gonna now getting found guilty, that's a different story. You know what I'm saying? They'll charge you, just to satisfy, what I mean, people making noise. You know what I mean? They'll
Well,
charge you just to keep, try to keep the peace. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like the overlay for the underplay. You know what I mean? They charge you, but you know what I mean, when it comes to being found guilty, that's gonna be a different story.
well, that will happen if there's public pressure put on the authorities. If there's no pressure, then there will be no charges. It's been close to a week now, and I haven't heard anything about the man being charged, and I don't expect to.
Yeah, well, that's why I asked you what kind of black people in Kinston. You know what I mean? Are they gonna turn the other cheek to this incident? They gonna come together, have something to say, or
It's a hard call, man, because the people of Kinston very rich in character, and they have a lot of heart, and they will come out and turn up about this. But it's a lot of, like I said, it's a lot of lack of information, and it's a political climate down there. It's an election year, man, and they're trying to keep this thing quiet, man, and they're doing whatever they can to, or whatever they have to do to keep this thing quiet.
have there ever been any similar incidents like this in Kinston where black people had to stand up for themselves?
Yes, there have been incidents, a few that I could think of. None that I really want to call to mention right now, because of the politics surrounding those incidents. But there have been incidents involving both the Caucasian community there and the Arab American community who are now there, who own a lot of the stores in the community. There have been, group actions taken against them, as well as, marches and rallies taken against the injustices that sometimes go on there.
Who are the majority people there?
Oh, it's majority black. And a lot of the elected officials are black for that reason. A qualified African American stands a very good chance of winning an election in Lenore County if he carries the black vote, because the majority of the people there, the majority of the voters there are black. Now, if there's a situation where we simply just don't show up to vote, then it's decided another way. But as far as public offices is concerned, Kinston has a black mayor. Kinston has a black sheriff. Kinston has several black members on the city council. There are quite a few elected officials in Kinston. And like I said, this is election year, and this thing is, it could possibly hurt Ronnie Ingram's chances for reelection. The way that he handles this case, or the way that he fails to handle this case, could reflect either positively or poorly on his campaign.
It sounds like to me, if he want to get the black vote, he better do something about that, because this is a situation where you got two grown men fighting one other man, somebody that has nothing to do with the situation, come up and shoot another man. I mean, that's kind of cut and dry from the way I'm looking at it. I mean, like you
Man,
said,
I just got to put it out there, man. It's the value on black life down there is not such that they would want to prosecute a white man for assaulting a black man, especially in that situation like that, where they could possibly somehow try to justify it.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy.
And I also want to say that even though there are a lot of black elected officials there, um, white people and blue money still runs that town.
Do the black elected officials, do they do anything for black people after they get them elected?
Some of them. And just like, with anyone and anything else, man, you have some people who are well-intentioned and sincere and trying to get things done. And then you have some who are, playing the old political game.
So how's the living conditions there in Kinston for black people?
Well, like I said, it's largely African American, and most of us live below the poverty line. And there are very few job opportunities there. A lot of people are hired for the few jobs and industries that are there. They're primarily hiring through temporary agencies. And you come in with lower pay and no benefits, and it's a while before you're hired permanently at most of these industries that are in Kinston.
Have you ever encountered any kind of racially motivated situations growing up in Kinston?
Oh man, it's the South, man. You know what I'm saying? I've been called niggas. I've been spit on. Fortunately, I'm from that generation where we started putting our hands back on people when they did shit like that. So I'm lucky and fortunate to have came along in that era. But yes, of course.